Good evening, everyone. Very warm welcome to you all on the 6th day of 7 days Executive Development Program, which is the 4th batch in the series. My sincere gratitude to ICAI President CA Nehar Jambusaria sir, ICAI Vice President CA Dr. Devashish Mitra sir, ICAI Acting Secretary CA Dr. Jaykumar Batra, Central Council members. This program is an initiative of the Committee for Members in Industry and Business under the leadership of Chairman C.A. Hansraj Jog sir and Vice Chairman of the Committee, Central Council member C.A. Durgesh Kabra. This initiative has made a significant difference in your lives. And as I say every day, we are sincerely thankful to you all for actively participating in this program and helping ICAI and Committee for Members in Industry and Business to make a difference in your lives, in each and everyone's lives. Though this program is focused on young members, but we are very happy to see that this has been making a significant difference in the lives of senior and experienced members also. Let me remind you that as this is a series of a program, all the previous sessions which have held under this initiative from April 21st are available on a recorded webcast link. So if you have missed those sessions, you can go back and have a look. Today is the day when we will be spending on discussion on entrepreneurship and leadership. And our first speaker is CA Gaurav Tucker from Doha. Allow me to introduce Gaurav to each one of you. Gaurav has 17 years of experience with diversified industry, startups, business management, and partnerships. Gaurav qualified as a chartered accountant from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He has done CPA from Australia. He is a member of Institute of Internal Auditors. He is a certified anti-money laundering specialist. And in his professional career has served both as a professional and an entrepreneur in various industry segments. He is currently serving as the managing partner of Moore Qatar. And he is also the managing director of Nizon Pte Limited, Singapore, which has a presence in UAE, Qatar, USA, and India. He has earlier served as Group CEO, Group CFO, Board Member of Esagal Acquisitions, Canada and Fiber Optic Supplies and Services LLC, and into the role since 2017. He had also served as a CFO of Q Auto Limited and had worked in Deloitte & Touche, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and AGAPL Limited in the past. His principal areas of expertise includes business management, launching startups, business advisory, IP advisory, governance and enterprise risk management, regulatory and internal compliance, internal audits, risk management, fraud detection and advisory, anti-money laundering advisory, IT assurance, audits, consulting, cybersecurity services, cloud services, sustainability, risk and internal control optimization, program management, assurance and change management, business automation, environmental energy audits and advisory, ERP advisory, business restructuring. He had served as a chairman of the Doha chapter of the Institute of the Chartered Accountants in the year 2017-18. Doha chapter is our oldest overseas chapter out of India amongst the 41 chapters and 28 representative offices abroad. He is the advisory board member for Golfland Golf Technology Company, and Styrus Consulting LLC UAE. He is a specialized trainer in risk and business advisory. He is a mentor to many and has been a motivational speaker in various sessions all across the world. I have very closely worked with Gaurav when he was serving as a chairman and a board member earlier, and very happy that today he is able to take out time and is amongst us to share on a very important topic. In this journey, in this world today, when I see the updates of our young members on LinkedIn, I see that many of our members are engaging themselves in the world of startups. So we are becoming an entrepreneur at a very young age. And that's a very healthy sign that we are extending our wings. I wish all our young members very best in everything we are doing. And let us hear from Gaurav, his experiences, considering his vast experiences in diverse organizations which have spread all across the world and where he has largely operated from the Middle East. So Gaurav, thank you so much for being here with us today and looking forward to your session. And please help me, all our participants, to please give a big virtual round of applause for Gaurav. And Gaurav, the screen is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pradeepji. So I'm going to be just sharing the screen now. So I hope everyone can see the screen.
Yes.
This is a great opportunity for me as a speaker to come back and share my experience and knowledge with the young chartered accountants. It's a different age, it's a different platform. We were earlier doing it physically, but now it's web, and I see a great advantage in this because now the message is being spread to a much wider audience. The Executive Development Program initiated by our institute is a great step towards sharing knowledge and allowing those who were deprived of experiences or mentoring to now be in touch with people who have seen a fair bit more than what they have, and they are now able to share their experiences and knowledge. Today is a very interesting topic for all of us, and before I start that, I would like to throw a question at our coordinator, CA Pradeep. How many people are there at the moment, Pradeep, because I can't see that?
We have, let me check it out. We have 609 live attendees as of now.
Perfect. That's amazing. That's amazing. So I welcome all of you guys on this webinar. Though I've been only given 1 hour by C. Pradeep, but I'll try my best to consolidate because this topic is a very vast topic, and it's not about a subject which has a definition. It's about experience. It's about a methodology that many people have followed in their own different ways and mannerisms, and have been able to define the word entrepreneurship. So the topic for the day is entrepreneurship and the journey of success. Before we start the session, I would like to place on record my sincere gratitude to CA Nihar Jambusaria, our President, Honorable President, to CA Devashish Mitra, who's our Honorable Vice President, CA Pradeep Baveja, the Regional Director for Middle East and Africa, the man behind the show. I would also like to place on record my sincere gratitude to the committee members of the Industry and Business Committee, CA Hansraj Shuk, the Chairman, CA Durgesh Kabra, the Vice Chairman, G. Ranganathan, Committee Secretary. I can't move ahead without thanking our very vibrant team at Doha. I've been part of the committee, been the chairman in Doha in 2017, and today we are very lucky to have two very vibrant gentlemen leading the show for us, CA Nilay Bhatt, the chairman for the Doha chapter of ICAI, and CA Ankit Agarwal, the vice chairman for the Doha chapter. So I thank you, all of you, for giving me this opportunity, and I hope I'll be able to deliver the message for the intended purpose. Well, before we move on, CA Pradeep has already given you an outlook about my profile. This slide is not to repeat the things which I'm sure you guys can see and read. What is more important is that very relevant to the subject is my profile as well, wherein I started as a professional and then moved on to become an entrepreneur. And we will learn a lot about how it happened. But before I would move to my own story, I would lay down the principles behind entrepreneurship, which I have learned in my life, and also what I have learned from others with the research, little research I could do. So, with the allowance of Sri Pradeep, can we start the session?
Yes, please, Gaurav.
Perfect. So, moving on. Uh, so, all the listeners and the audience, please look at the words of wisdom that I've just, put two quotes here. Entrepreneurship to start with. I'm sorry. Entrepreneurship to start with, there is no particular definition that you can use to define entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is all about passion. It's all about your internal instincts. What do you want to do in your life? What stage are you in? How ready are you? An entrepreneur is only a successful person who has laid down various principles which people want to follow. These principles are, not defined in any book. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect,
Yeah.
Gaurav.
I was not able to hear the noise. So these principles are not defined in any book. We can look into many textbooks. They will only try to define the generic principles. However, it's about your own passion. So here is one of the statements which says the pessimists, they are only spending time thinking about what they will do in their lives. They will never take the next step. And I'm sorry, my friends, if you are not someone who wants to take the next step, you are not going to be an entrepreneur, because if it is lost in the mind, you can't even, think of becoming an entrepreneur. I don't want to read the whole sentence. That's why I displayed it on the screen. The second one also talks about very, very important aspect, that when an entrepreneur completes his journey being an entrepreneur, starting from from a startup to become a successful businessman, he looks back and he realizes that there were a lot of imperfections. There is no one who is defined as an entrepreneur because he was a perfect human being. He was a perfect individual. I'm sorry, this is a myth. It does not exist. You have to become an entrepreneur with a lot of learning, with a lot of ups and downs. You have to look into the experiences of others, learn from there, and your path can be completely different from others. And hence, the message on this statement is about imperfections. Don't expect yourself to reach a level of perfection is when you will start. That day will never come, because you have to start now and your perfections will solidify with time. Now, who is an entrepreneur? Who is an entrepreneur is a definition which, though I've taken from the internet, but I've tried to take the definition which is close to my heart, which defines an entrepreneur to a very high extent in the real manner. He's a starter, he's an initiator, he's a challenger, he's a driver, and he's a person who creates something new. Now, all these terminologies are very, very, very important, because we cannot just assume that there is a textbook message or a statement given somewhere and I will start following the steps and I'll end up becoming an entrepreneur. That's not the way. You need to start. You need to be a driver. You have to challenge a particular instant of your life. Only then you move on. But does it stop there? The answer is absolutely no. There are many, many, many people I come across, because I'm an investor as well. I'm an entrepreneur as well. I've invested into startups. I have my own startup. When you start looking at businesses, there are people who will come out with varied ideas. There are brilliant ideas, but they die on paper. An entrepreneur is not someone who only initiates an idea. An entrepreneur is beyond that, much beyond that. He starts with an idea, but he then progresses with it. He is someone who takes accountability and responsibility. If you see the another highlighted word, the two words are highest stakes. He's the one who has to live with that idea. And mind you, every day you can have a new idea, but you have to follow one. Otherwise, again, you will never start. You will become someone who is only a dreamer or a thinker, but you will never end up being an entrepreneur, because then it won't materialize. Now, looking at this picture, I would want to throw a question at the audience. Is there anything common that you see in these people? Pradeepji, if you can get me the first answers.
Yes. So participants, request you to see the screen and do answer, is there anything common you see, as Gaurav asked? And as you respond, I will share with Gaurav. These are very familiar faces though. I think except maybe one or two who I'm not able to recognize. All other are very common.
Well,
Ideally,
when you will see the answer I'm expecting, because there are various answers, then your
okay.
perspective will change, Pradeep
Okay,
ji.
okay,
So,
okay.
do we have any answer as of now?
No. Please, participants, hurry up. Let us have some good answers. And I'm really curious to know what Gaurav has to share. As he said that my perspective will change after seeing the answers. Let us see who is the first one to respond. Oh,
Okay, no worries. Considering the time constraint, well,
yeah,
the
yeah.
common
We
answer,
have we have one answer. One answer, Gaurav.
what is that?
Kanika Gambhir. She says game changers.
Oh, wow. Now, you know what, Kanika, you have one trait definitely become an entrepreneur because you were thinking out of the box, which is one of the requirements of being an entrepreneur. Thank you so much. Well done, Kanika. Now, let me tell you something. Some people must be thinking, shall I call them billionaires, millionaires? They must be thinking they are having a common industry. They are all businessmen. Well, I have a different answer for all of you. And that would be the real start of this particular session. All these people had 4 wives and 1 husband. Well, not literally, in terms of all these people at their own stages of life when they chose to become an entrepreneur had got or were keen to know the answers of the 5 statements written on the screen. Who can be an entrepreneur? Why to be an entrepreneur? What does it take to be an entrepreneur? When to be an entrepreneur and how to be an entrepreneur? Trust me, if you have answers to these 5 statements, you are someone who has at least started moving towards the stage of becoming an entrepreneur. Well, in literally, we don't have to marry 4 women and have 1 husband. It's only for a remembrance that I've used this statement. Let's now go into the real session of addressing each of these 5 statements before I move on to my own story as well. We're talking about who can be an entrepreneur. Well, before we do that, is it about money to be an entrepreneur? Because people think, oh my God, if he is a businessman, he must be minting money, he must be printing money. Is it about achievement that he's become so successful? Is it about yourself that you want to prove to yourself? Or is it about others? Well, let me tell you with my experience, it's a mixed bag of everything. There is no one who is not doing or trying to taste success without without an interest in money, without an expectation to earn or become rich. Achievement, of course, with success, definitely something comes your way, your accolades change, you become famous, you become someone who starts getting attention. Yourself and others is very subjective. Let's start the real session now. We spoke about who can be an entrepreneur. Well, you know what? Again, there is no specific definition, and there is a lot of confusion in the minds of people. People who are trying to be an entrepreneur in their minds or are always talking about it, but are not taking the next steps. They are not able to take the first step. Why? Well, they're not able to take the first step for the following reasons. They are confused because they feel, and this is a myth, by the way, that I don't have money to start. I will answer it in the slides to come, that's not the real thing or aspect to start with. I'm not qualified. They believe only in MBA programs or MBA for entrepreneurship these days. Someone told me there is an MBA for being a successful entrepreneur. I don't have a rich family. There is no nepotism, as we call it. I don't have contacts. I don't have network. You know what? How will I do it alone? I need someone to partner with me, someone to take the risks with me. Oh my God, I'm too old. What do? My days are gone. I missed the bus. Well, the answers to all of this is no. If you are an entrepreneur, all these are not the constraints, and we'll understand them one by one. Moving to the next slide, which will help us answer those points. Let's look at certain myths which are common, just an extension of the previous slide. People believe that entrepreneurs are born that way. Well, please tell me, is there race of people that you've heard and only those are successful? The answer is no. The only requirement is a good idea. Well, there is very difficult for any one of you to come out with any idea, because I've done that practice. When I started looking at becoming an entrepreneur, like, what do I do? And people believe in one particular mistake, by the way. It's a belief and it's a mistake, which is that I need a unique idea. Trust me, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to get a unique idea. Unless that idea is such that might need such a level of investment, both in terms of money and other aspects, that you can't even, even if you can conceive it, you can't move ahead with it. Next myth we say is new business guarantees freedom. Well, that's absolutely not true. When you are in an employment and when you're in your own business setup, things and your life completely changes. We will learn about it. Launching a company quickly leads to wealth. Absolutely wrong. I will show you statistics. How many percentage of startups fail? Only money motivates people. Well, that's not the case always. The feeling of achievement, offering to others, doing something different and adding value to the society as a whole is also very, very important motivation. Only all responsibility falls on the entrepreneur. Well, primarily yes, but then when you grow, you start having C-level people, advisors, other associates who start sharing risks with you. There is a secret silver bullet to key to success. Absolutely no. Underline it. Please put it in your head. Answer is no. There is no secret. There is no book. I mean, I'm sure there is a book called with Rhonda Byrne talking about secrets in attracting energy. Fantastic. I love it. But that's correct. That's not a wrong statement. They are trying to tell you that think what you want to be, only then you will move there. But you have to move. That's only the first part. Business needs someone with an MBA and at the helm. Sorry, that's not about it. I will show you statistics. Quitting is for losers. Entrepreneurs don't have a personal life. Entrepreneur takes a lot of risk. Well, it's a mixed bag, and it's equally true in a world. And I'm a live example of all these statements that is given, and you will see how. And we have lived it. Moving on to the next slide is one of the myths being addressed. We are talking about education. We said MBA. Oh my God, I don't have an MBA. How will I become an entrepreneur? Well, look at these three people. If for your information, all these three who are, I don't even have to mention the names, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, these people were college dropouts. I've got very interesting survey done by CNBC in 2017. If you look, most of the entrepreneurs or the successful billionaires and millionaires, they could not even complete their high school. 5% of them, 20% of them did only high school. 14% had some associate degree. 17% only college. 26% they were just college graduates, or of a maybe reasonably better college, and only 18% were able to go to the postgraduate level. Did it stop them from becoming an entrepreneur? The answer is no. In fact, there are people which are the three in the picture who were college dropouts, and the fun part is that business schools are now taking their examples and trying to teach people what entrepreneur is or what an entrepreneurship is. This is the best part, because these people have been doing it right. They are leading by example. They have set the tone, and this is where we have to understand. It's not, education is very important. Very, very, very important, because it gives you knowledge. But knowledge has to be, portrayed into practical life. You need to take actions. Those actions, if someone is more intelligent than you and you believe you can't do it, that's where we are talking about this slide. That's wrong. Gender. People also believe only men have been very successful. Now that's a very small, range of people, so I'm not generalizing. But here is a list of top 10 women billionaires who have really made a mark in their own world and on their own businesses. Moving on to funding. This is a very, very important aspect. I will be focusing more on the important aspects because of the time constraint. People believe, I don't have someone to fund me. How will I start? Absolutely wrong. Because people start looking at banks. People start looking at financial institutions. Well, if you look at the top funding sources I have created, banks are the second lowest. We're talking about crowdfunding, wherein people who like into chit funds is one good example. People who have been running it very in a disciplined manner and in an ethical manner have done very well. There have been your own friends and family sitting right at the second number. Personal loans and credits. Venture capitals and angel investors are the biggest funding percentage, I would say. People are sitting with money. They are looking for new startups. Look at Ratan Tata, always trying to support Mr. Mahindra, always trying to support new and young people with great ideas. So gone are those days. We are living in the world of internet. All you need to do is market your idea. But of course, there are aspects related to it which we will learn in the next slides. You cannot just come with an idea, as I said. You have to be accountable. You have to be responsible. You should know what you're talking about, because someone who's putting money and interest in you has to understand what you're trying to talk about. So funding, which was one of the important areas of myth, has been taken out. Next is, you know what? I've got the funding, but now I have to prove to people because I need minimum $100,000 to start with. Absolutely wrong. If you look at the chart here, HP started with a $500 investment, and the list is endless. Let's not talk about HP. We see so many food joints in India who started as tea stallers, who started as small restaurants or dhabas for that matter, and have now become restaurateurs, hoteliers. They have their own brands. Bero's Biryani, as I've heard about, I've been out of India for a long time, but I keep hearing about it. All these people started as college students, had an idea, took the idea in their mind, had a plan. We will learn it in the how to do section, and they started working towards it. They brought advancements, quality changes into in their business model, and now they are the Bero's Biryani. Are we talking about Bero's Biryani because it is 200 years old? No, it is not coming from a Jama Masjid in Delhi where people are actually running shows for last 300 years, but they have also been beaten by this young man who comes over with a new idea. So funding is not a constraint. If you have an idea, there are enough people to give you money. Also, you can start small and you can make it big with your progress. Another very important myth that comes in is, man, I missed that idea. You know what? Because I was thinking what I wanted, what Uber has done. I was thinking what Paytm has done. Now they've already taken over the market. What do I do? Well, come on. We have it in our own front of our own eyes. When Paytm came, no one knew about PhonePe. Then PhonePe came, and now actually even before Paytm, there was Google Pay, there was Apple Pay, there was so many, PayPal and all those things. The concept was not marketed well in a country like India. Someone who thought about it came up with this. Mr. Sharma, I believe, is from Paytm. He is the one who thought about it, brought that idea, did the math on the business planning, did the hard work to get the approvals done, and now we have the brand called Paytm, who is now the official sponsor of the Indian cricket team, which is one of the richest boards. So you can imagine the amount of money they're spending on the marketing. This is an example I'm putting here, Lyft. Uber, when it started, was a market leader, and then we started talking about no one can enter the segment. Here in the Middle East, we've got Careem, we've got so many other such service providers, and Lyft is another example. If you see, similar stats have been achieved by Lyft as well. So we should not stop saying that we cannot start an already existing idea. Maybe you have a better management style. Maybe you have a better marketing style. Maybe you have a better support system. And there is no way, everything sells if you have a consumer who gets, in India especially, change is very, very important. Someone who even brings the change in the marketing logo, for that matter, will get attractive and people will move towards it. Restaurants are such an example. We are eating one particular dish in a restaurant. We don't just keep going to the restaurant. We try to eat the same dish in a different restaurant as well. And hence, you should not stick or step back if you don't have a unique idea. Every idea is important, but you should know how to run it. Well, moving on to the second segment. Very, very important. We learned about who is an entrepreneur, and we've learned about the myths which are not to be considered. And you know what? In the beginning, I said there is no specific definition. You have to just let go of your planning in your mind. Planning is very important, but once it's conceived and it's fixed, you need to take the next step. But the question comes in, why do I become an entrepreneur? Now, as chartered accountants, which has a very great value in the industry segment, I will be able to get a nice job, and I will be able to get a nice salary, and eventually I will grow, I will make enough money, and I will retire. This is where people believe. The aspect of entrepreneurship has nothing to do with these kind of sentiments, because an entrepreneur thinks differently. Why does he want to become an entrepreneur? Those people who had those common 4 wives and 1 husband, because they want to have a feeling of achievement. They want to challenge. They want to learn in a different perspective. They don't want to be stereotyped. Learning is in professional careers as well. However, learning of that matter is already set as a tone by someone else. You just need to follow it. You have independence and autonomy in a business environment. Well, a company like Google gives a lot of autonomy and independence, but still you have to follow certain principles. You are not able to design your own path. Income security and financial success, very important. In your own setup, if you're able to run it successfully, you know your future the best. No one is going to decide it but you. Of course, there are economical factors, political factors, social factors, but those are also, I'm sure, if you're having a good ERM, which is the enterprise risk management system, which also, one of my forte in the advisory segment, we always advise our clients. If you have your ERM set in your mind and in your business, then even those risks are mitigated. Recognition and status, definitely yes. A successful entrepreneur, even if he is much smaller in size, is more valued than a professional. Dissatisfaction with current work arrangements is a very, very big factor, because sometimes when you reach success and you're still being dictated by the owner, who is half your knowledge, half your qualification, you feel demotivated, you feel dissatisfied. If you look at the diagram on the side, we've also tried to portray here, an entrepreneur is directly adding value and he's directly earning money. There are no structured barriers in his success or in his value addition or value receipt. If you look at here, you are the one adding value, the most of the value. If you see in the picture, all you get is a fixed salary, irrespective of how great you were. Who gets the real credit is your boss, who might have not been able to even read what you've done and had a 15-minute discussion with you and presented it to the whole world and became the master of that particular subject. He's the one who's getting the revenue. Might be the entrepreneur and adding the value. But more important thing here is with the word I just used. You are an employee who added the most value, but the actual credit went to that entrepreneur who is your boss. And hence, this is a very, very good reason and to answer the question, why do I need to become an entrepreneur? Moving on to the next slide. Do we really have a choice? An entrepreneur does not have a choice, my friends. There is no way that you can be confused, because if you are an entrepreneur and you have this kind of passion and you're encouraged to be an entrepreneur, then I'm pretty sure you will not even have a choice. And there is a question I've thrown here. How many professionals made it to a billionaire or millionaire club? Hardly. Maybe. I don't even remember anyone. I know the name of Mr. Nikesh Arora, he was the ex-CEO of Google, one of the highest paid professionals in the world. He was paid some $1 million. But how many years did he survive in that company? He had to move to another company, where he also survived for a couple of years. Why was he moving jobs? When he was making millions of dollars, he was also dissatisfied. Even with those millions of dollars, he was dissatisfied. And now he went to another company who is now into cloud computing called Palo Alto, which is the biggest cloud company in the world. From a Google to a SoftBank in Japan to a Palo Alto, completely different terminologies, completely different industries. I'm pretty sure he has his own reasons to do that. If it is money or what, I'm not sure. I cannot comment on that. But look at it. He's also changing jobs. Someone who was one of the highest paid professionals, for your information. Very good slide. Very quickly we'll look at it again, considering the time. Is it a confusion or your choice? It's definitely your choice. Look at it. Do you want to do it for yourself or for someone else? Do you want to live your dream or someone else's dream? Do you want to scale your income or climb the ladder? Independence, discipline, risk takers, all those aspects, I'm not going to do the full list, are very, very important for you guys to understand. The satisfaction that, if you take my example, though I have the last slide on me, I have been, with the grace of God and the blessings of my family, a successful professional. I reached the C-level suite at the age of 32. I was sitting on the board of multinational companies in the early 30s. My last job, I was on the board of a Canadian company, being this group CEO of 3 countries. Let me tell you, I had to quit my job because I was highly dissatisfied. The amount of risk I was taking against the returns were completely unmatchable. I was not ready to go into those kind of risks without having a clear path in front of me. Industry has completely taken a U-turn. We were into a contracting business. Contractors had a very, very, very tough time I'm not sure about India at the moment, but in the Middle East, I can tell you, because of severe cash flow issues. And hence I realized that these risks that I want to take, can I not fix the cash flows? I can. But what is it behind me? I will still remain an employee who will be serving an interest of someone who is sitting back in Canada and not able to add value or help me or support me or stand by right next to me. Moving on to the next part is again pros and cons. We will leave that part because we move to the next section. It's all about why. I hope I have been able to give you a why. This why will not come with a reading or my presentation. It should come from within you. You have to understand what you want to be in your life. You want a comfort zone now, or you want a comfort zone later? If you want a comfort zone later, I believe entrepreneurship, provided it gets successful, is the path for you, because you are going to drive your own life. Next, what does it take to be an entrepreneur? I think we have already covered that thing in various parts. We are talking about aspects. These are not certifications. That's why I prepared a cross against the certification. You cannot be a certified person to become an entrepreneur. Never ever. A guy who never went to the school is also an entrepreneur. He has conceived an idea. Look at many business formed in India who are basically halwais or as I said, barbers. They just come out with a different concept. So you need to be motivated. This is self-motivation. No one can buy you this. You cannot go and buy it in any shop. No one can push you. Your parents cannot say, please become an entrepreneur because I always had a dream you will become an entrepreneur. Sorry, that's not going to happen. Successful businessmen, they don't have their children who are going to be successful businessmen as well, always. They have to have the passion within. Creativity, definitely, yes. You need to think differently, because then, yes, you have a risk of going to the mad race. You have to have a vision. You have to have risk tolerance. You have to have flexibility. Why? We will learn it in the next slides. Patience, tolerance, leadership, structure, ethics, all those things. Why? Why do I talk about ethics now? It's my own company. Why do I need to be ethical? Well, what you will put as a founding stone for your own business when you will grow, the vision and the mission. Have you ever realized that every company has a vision and mission statement? We always think those are motivational statements. Well, your answer is absolutely wrong. We, as an advisor as well, write mission and vision statements for companies, and we charge companies for that as corporate strategies. Why? Because we try to give them the right path, because they want a message that goes right in the minds of their employees to understand how that company works and what is their objective at the end. Is entrepreneurship easy? Well, this is how people see it looks like, which is a straight line. It is absolutely not. So if you're thinking, you know what, Gaurav has spoken very nicely about entrepreneurship. He has done it himself as well. And it's, something which I want to do it tomorrow. I'm motivated now. Sorry. You have to be understanding very, very clearly. You might not have a smooth success or an immediate success. It might take time, and you have to be ready for it. You have to have your risks mitigated. I was talking to you about the failures previously. If you look at these stats, this is not scary. This is about you to understand why people have failed. 95% of the startups have fallen short on projections. They believe I will do these many sales. They were not able to do that. They have failed on projected returns. They have got bankrupt. They did not have enough liquidity. They have been planning and experience, been short on those. All these were learnings, and we are lucky that the concept of entrepreneurship is not 10 years old or a decade old or a century old. It has been coming from years. You have enough examples. The best part is you've got internet now. Study why people failed. If you're looking for a particular industry, go and see and study why in that particular field people have failed. That knowledge will give you enough edge over others to start and be successful in your own business. Well, I've just given an example here. It looks like a simple circuit, but it's not. You have to tie so many joints together to form a business. It's not a one-man show, my friends. It's not something you will deliver. Perhaps it can be. You're a knowledgeable speaker. It can be. You're a teacher who are now coming out with their own coaching institutes. Then, yes, it might be simpler. But then when you will grow the institute, can you start lecturing for 24 hours? You will lose your throat. So you will start having better teachers, more teachers, admin system, finance system, HR system, printing system, blah, 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 and IT systems. So you will have to have those things connected as well. You cannot just run on one-man show. Well, very important aspect. What does it take? What does it take also involves time and work management. Don't get burnt out, because one of the other reasons people have lost their interest in entrepreneurship is too tiring. Definitely. You are always thinking. So try to plan your day, exercise, good meals, keeping your healthy, managing your time. There is hardly any time for an entrepreneur to think, I am an entrepreneur, I'm doing multiple things at the moment. I swear I do not get time to basically plan my day. It has to be, if I don't get up on time, the day I feel has been wasted. The time and work management is very, very critical. Next question comes in here is, Pradeepji, we have time, right? We got 20 more minutes, I believe. Right.
Yes, yes, Gaurav, 20 minutes we have, sir.
Okay, perfect. So next, the W that we're talking about is when another misconception. People believe, you know what, I'm too old, I'm too young. You know what, at the moment, let me do some more job. Let me earn some more money. This is not the right time for me to do it because the situation of the family is such that they need stability. All these things are the pessimists, how they think. They will never be able to take that step. I was on a very high paid salary. I took that call myself because I realized it's not long term. And if I don't do it now, it won't happen later. I have just entered the 40s and trust me, I should have done what I'm doing now, perhaps 15, 20 minutes, 3 to 4 years back. But no regrets. Again, this is why I'm preaching you here. There are no regrets because I'll show you statistics right in this slide, in the next one as well. There is no age to be an entrepreneur. If you have a good idea, because now I believe it's right time for me to be an entrepreneur because I have managed businesses for others. So I understand that knowledge has given me enough reasons to become an entrepreneur. And hence, perhaps you are at a college stage. Look at Mark Zuckerberg, so Bill Gates and all those. When they were college students, they thought of becoming an entrepreneur because they had an idea which they believed in. They've started looking at it, research with nothing. They had no money. We have already questioned all those aspects. It's all about that their mindset, it's now. Otherwise, it's never. You have to start now. At your age, even if you are into 40s, 20s, 30s, does not matter. You look at here some stats. Mark Zuckerberg, 23. Whereas Warren Buffett at 56. At Michael Jordan at 51. I mean, how can you even relate to this if you have this misconception that it has to start at the right time? Look at these examples. Facebook, Oyo, Paytm. Oyo guy, I mean, he was in his mid-20s when he started conceiving this idea and launched it. He's a billionaire, one of the pioneer unicorn owner. Look at Paytm guy. He was, I think, in his late 20s or early 30s when he started. This is another age chart that I put here. If you look at some examples like Wikipedia, we talk about McDonald's on the right, Coca-Cola, KFC. Look at these people. They started at 65. I mean, Harlan Sanders of KFC, that old uncle that we see on the picture. He started almost at the fag end of his career. But look at the brand. Look at the brand value. No one is even near to it. And hence, there is no age, my friends. You guys need to start now. If you want to start now, and I would actually say, earlier the better, because you have the time value, the time, how do you say that? The value of time in your hands. You have the margin of error in your hands. If you're starting early, you can think of committing certain errors. You will be under less pressure. But again, that's not a constraint. Even at my age or at 65, someone wants to start and he fails twice, thrice, and he's still determined. I don't think anyone can stop him. Moving on to the next slide. Very interesting examples, by the way. I also have a YouTube channel for my children, which we conceived during the Corona time, and living a live example of that. We got around 6,000 subscribers, but look at these people. 41.7 million subscribers. Look at this guy. Please Google or go to YouTube and see this child. He's a Filipino-American family, Ryan Kaji. 9 years old, but he is 9 years now. His channel with his parents started when he was 5 years old. Look at Nastya, right at the bottom, 7 years old at the moment. She started when she was a baby. She was actually acting like an entrepreneur in her own YouTube videos. Guys, do you know the yearly income of Ryan? $26 million. $26 million is a lifetime, maybe 2 lifetimes of savings. You don't need to earn, perhaps, if you are satisfied. Look at these very, very, very relevant examples. They have gone into a different level. These days we say a YouTube video just has to get viral. That does not happen just. It takes time, but it happens sometimes. You need to keep doing it. You need to think about it now. YouTube, Google, all these have thrown platforms. Amazon, people are selling things. You have to go and Google and learn about those people who have become millionaires, so only selling things on Amazon. They don't have, it's an Uber model. They don't have any asset of their own. They've become, look at Uber, by the way. Does it have any asset of its own? The answer is no. There are many such examples. They don't even own their assets. They have become such successful billionaires. Moving on to the last part, which is how. Well, this is a very important slide. First and foremost, the spirits have to be correct. We need to understand at what stage of life we are in. And again, we have in the earlier slides already learned, age is not a number which will define your start, but the spirit will. You need to decide, are you ready? And the ready is in your mind. Do you have a goal? That's the second point. That goal, generally don't complicate it by saying, oh, I have to do a market research, I need to spend money, I need to organize an agency to do that. No. You are in your own environment. That environment is in your own hands. You need to do your own research and come out with your own satisfaction. And of course, if you are sane, and I'm not saying intelligent or super genius, sane, someone who has brains, he will understand whether his research is complete, proper, appropriate or not. You need to, of course, take feedbacks. This is part of the research. You have to have a business plan. If someone does not know how to crunch numbers, he gets lost, because at the end you want to earn money. So how much are you spending, the capex, the opex, the ROI on the things, the cost of running a particular business? You need to understand these basic numbers and methodologies to be having a business plan in your mind. Now, business plan is both qualitative and quantitative. Quantitative is the business plan on Excel. Qualitative is the product mix, the customer mix, the market mix, wherever you want to go to. Then also includes what will I do in second year, third year, fourth year based on my success KPIs. One KPI met, move to the next one. Legal framework, of course, when you become an entrepreneur, you're no longer sitting in your own environment. You are impacting, influencing, touching others. You cannot sell anything. An entrepreneur has to sell service or goods. You cannot sell anything in the market and earn without having a realization that there can be a negative impact or a positive impact. If there is a negative impact, you need to be covered by a legal framework. Right? You need to have specialists when you grow. Either you are the specialist on your own, so you are your employee of your own, or you need to have specialists to support your system. Of course, you need a place to start from. It can be your own room wherein people are YouTubing. I understand there is a guy called Kari Manaki. He's one of the biggest YouTubers in India. Look at him. What does he do? He lives in a small town called Faridabad, and he is managing his million words of business. I don't know how much he earns, but he's the biggest YouTuber. He's the biggest influencer. Bollywood directors and producers are approaching him to market their videos because he's got a base of 20 million subscribers. And for your information, every subscriber is sold for 2 or 3 rupees if you want to buy that channel. Imagine 3 rupees times 20 million. How much money you will have to spend to even buy that channel that guy has created at an age of hardly 22, 21, 22. He started between playing video games. So was that a wrong thing to do? Studying is being done, but he started it as a career, took it seriously, and he made it his career. It was not wrong. Our parents as well have to change their thoughts and way of looking at things. Children these days, youngsters are very smart. They are able to convert different small little vague ideas which were considered a waste of time into value now. Scale up your business, of course, once you understand. I've been successful. At one point of time, you have heard the story of Kodak cameras. If you don't change with time, you don't scale up on time, you are bound to fail. Well, guys, I hope the concept of entrepreneurship has been transformed, not transformed, has been delivered from my side to you guys. I hope I was able to add value. Now, before we end the session, I would also want to raise to you about my story, because I've been brought into this session as a speaker. Well, why I've been picked up? Because you saw my profile in the first few slides that I started as a professional and ended up being an entrepreneur. Of course, I started as a student. I wish I was in this era being a student, because every single day I kind of regret, why didn't I start my entrepreneurship dream when I was a student? You know, a lot of blame game I can put it on the people around me, my family as well. They did not encourage us. I am encouraging every one of you. And I will give you a formula, by the way, which I also tried, and it kind of worked for me. If you're not very sure and you want some regular income, take up a small job that keeps you busy and gives you enough money to invest. But that should be a temporary dream for you, a year maximum or a 2. Make enough money and start now. It has to be now. Earlier the better, as I said. In my career, I started as a student, did not take up entrepreneurship. As a professional, did not take up entrepreneurship. And then when I grew in my professional career at a very young age, and I became a very senior C-level person in the various big multinational companies, I started realizing, I started sitting on the board, that there has to be reasons for me to become an entrepreneur. At that stage, I took the first step of becoming an entrepreneur by investing into startups. I studied the startups, I believed in those and became a shareholder in those and started adding value on other aspects as well. When I realized that other startups are doing well, understood the concept, this is the learning part, I launched my own startup. Today, I own a cloud company which is based out of Singapore, that's called Technizon, and is spreading fast into various countries. Is it successful already? Well, the definition of success is different. It has touched break-even, but it has touched break-even in months. Our planning was to touch break-even in 2 years, but we have touched it in months. It is still having its own issues, but the way my team, who are a team of youngsters, are working on it, I'm pretty sure it will add a lot of value. And that startup is something which we are very proud of. The subject we have taken is a futuristic subject. We have realized that cloud and cybersecurity, which are the two services we cater to, are very important. They are the future of the world, and hence we are looking at it. The scaling part that comes here, we have an R&D department. I've got a chief technical officer who is a geek, who is someone who understands technology thick and thin. He does not sleep before 3 o'clock because after midnight, when his family has slept, he likes to read. He's advancing into more products on the cloud platform. We have onboarded some real big names on our company already. And this is where we feel that we have done what we wanted to do. But me being a multitasker, I have a problem. I don't like to just do one thing. So I became an investor in a startup. I started my own startup. I was a professional. I left my profession and then became a managing partner with Moore. In addition to that, I've got a trading and contracting company, which I actually forgot to mention here. I do have a contracting company, which is also functioning in a IT world. Bottom line, do I get time for myself? No. But I don't regret. I really enjoy it. I am more successful and more productive. Let me tell you this very, very clearly. When I was a group CEO of a Canadian company at the age of 35, I had 3 general managers and I don't know, a team of 320 people reporting into me. But I used to tell my wife and my family members, I'm getting corrosion. I'm getting corroded. I am not learning because there are people I'm just delegating my jobs to. I'm not able to add value. And at this stage of my life, I shouldn't be doing this. And trust me, I regret. I lost my network because I was always traveling. I was always in the air. I lost my network. I lost my learning. I went into a field which is an IT field, which is not my core competency. But the biggest mistake I did in that time, when I had the time, which I could have planned better, I should have started another startup or another business of my own. I did not. But it's never too late, my friends. I thought about it, got the support of my family again, took that big step of stepping out of a big multinational company as a group CEO and started my own things. It's been few months, just to tell you, and the level of satisfaction monetarily, definitely it's not exactly the same that I was doing. But will I not make it there? I will definitely make it there. And that success that when I will reach will be a level wherein it will be in my own hands. People will not be deciding my career, especially at the C level in various mid-level organizations. They don't like to have an outsider or an independent person making those thousands of dollars. They are looking at one or the other reason. When the business is set, every strategy has been lived and achieved. They find a reason to just get rid of you. Now in my own business, in my own setup, I don't have that particular risk. So guys, thank you so much. I think I was able to deliver value. I had 1 hour. I know I was a bit fast, but I tried to deliver the message to the extent I could do it. I don't know whether we have time for questions at the moment, Pradeep ji.
Yeah, Gaurav, we have 5 minutes now, and we can take a couple of questions. So request participants, any questions you may have, which may not be just limited to entrepreneurship. Anything you have, we can take the benefit of Gaurav being here today, who has so diverse experience. And as they come. Yeah, Gaurav, so very inspiring journey. Thank you so much, I would say, for being here until the
Thank you.
comes. Uh, we have our speakers Neeraj and Krishnan also here. If Krishnan and Neeraj, if you would like to open a question to Gaurav, you can, as I wait for some questions to come from the participants.
Good evening, Gaurav. It was a wonderful experience. It was, we have interacted earlier, but it was a wonderful experience, wonderful knowledge which you shared with us. In fact, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. It is ideal. Everybody puts in a lot of effort to become an entrepreneur. The risk and reward is on your own. That's what the message which you are trying to convey to the people. So, but before, my question to you is, but even though you said, okay, you have taken the step at a later time, you were thinking earlier also to move into the entrepreneurship at your early age, or it came to you only at the age of 40 or 35?
It's a very interesting question. If I be ultra honest, I come from a business family. My father was always an entrepreneur, and it was always an urge, but I went into the same confusion because I have a history which is very Bollywood kind of history, wherein I had to leave and had a lot of stakes. I had to leave a lot of my family's business and wealth and start on my own with my wife. That stage, I was, kind of confused. Same confusions I have lived. I am not leading by example, at least in the first phase of being an entrepreneur. Wherein shall I be an entrepreneur or shall I be a professional? Let's go to a professionalship. My life started with the big four called PricewaterhouseCoopers. Wow, what a fantastic start. I've seen partners doing great, lives, driving great cars, and so on. However, if you ask me now, and I actually want to say something very important related to India. If I ask you now, if you ask me now, I regret. I should have started, and I'm pretty sure with the life, the kind of characteristic I have, the energy levels that I generally had, and to some extent now as well, I would have been a different person altogether. Another point very important here is we moved to a foreign land, and we all, that point of time was like, wow, I need a foreign job, an employment outside the country, money is more, this and that. Let me tell you one thing. I've been outside India for 15 years. And today, when I meet my friends who were entrepreneurs at an early stage, they are way ahead of us, absolutely ahead of us. There are a lot of students listening to me. They might be thinking, you know what, these guys have made it because they have gone outside, they made it in dollars. I'm telling you, if we were in India, we would have made much more. Because the spirit that I have and what I'm doing now, if I had done it in India, look at the consumption potential of India. It would have been completely a different story. So if anyone wants to talk to me directly, I will tell them, please. In fact, very, very recently, I was talking to my personal trainer, who is actually in India, because it's a web world. My personal trainer is no longer in the gym with me. He's on a Zoom call with me. And he was like, I intend to go to Dubai. I told him, don't. Because you will end up in a very small competitive world, which is such small that the piece of cake which will come to you will be wrong. Look at India. Come out with dynamic plans, dynamic strategies, and you can have a good marketing mind, get a celebrity on board, things like that to make up your own business. Think like an entrepreneur. And honestly, he changed his mind and he's thinking of those things. He's trying to take some ideas from me, but I hope I could answer your point. It's a regret. I believe it's a regret for me.
Perfect, Gaurav. Yeah, we got the point. In fact, that's why I also moved from the industry to practice now.
Fantastic.
Even though it is also,
join the club.
It's also late, but better late than never.
Absolutely. Join the club.
Yeah.
Pradeep, you have any questions from the student? Otherwise, I'll quickly ask one short question.
Yeah, no, Neeraj, we don't have. You can ask.
Okay, very quick, Gaurav, one question. I mean, for the larger audience, we always see a success story. We hear about success stories. And as you rightly said, that 90% of the startup fails. If anyone is venturing into entrepreneurship, at what time, if he's failing, say first time, second time, third time, what is a very brief message to those guys? I mean, one is, of course, that, yeah, you may continue that. But for how long? There has to be a point where he has to think and decide what next.
Good point. See, Neeraj, a very quick answer to that is, if the strategies are failing and you're not able to realize, the reasons behind it, that's the first area of concentration. Because you're not failing because someone is making you fail. You're failing because you're doing something wrong. So if maybe then you need to go back to your initial idea, right? The spirit part, and then the next idea, whether that idea is correct or not. Let me tell you one thing. In an economy like India, especially, US, China are other examples, it's very difficult for an idea to fail because every single thing tells. If it is failing again and again, my advice to those people is go back, see first why it has failed. If they're not able to figure it out, they need to go back to their initial idea and perhaps go to the plan B. But don't waste time and don't get demotivated. One idea did not work, the second will not work. That's absolutely wrong. You can perhaps change your idea, make it look different, or do something different. But entrepreneurship is if it is in your blood, it will not let you sleep. It will not let you go back. I'm telling you, someone who wants to be an entrepreneur will definitely become one.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. Very inspiring journey you have, and we thank you for taking out time and wish you very best on in your entrepreneurship journey. Me as an individual, also, I also only read management, business, or leadership books, and I get to read many stories what you have shared today, and I could relate to what you were sharing, and the way you inspired everyone by also talking about the challenges and failures was something very important. And one thing I would like to add as on the startups, Peter Thiel, he says that if we are working on our startup journey, then, we should not think of building a network like social network like what Mark Zuckerberg did or the other things which have come up. Because if we are trying to copy what has already been done, we may not be that successful. So it is something where we try to create in some new things. You were talking about your business, about cloud computing, which has a lot of scope for everyone, cyber security services, which is one of the, I think, top 10 industry, which is gaining. It was 1 or 2 years back, I read about the business. It's growing in the cybersecurity services. How big the industry has become, and we never realized it. So, a great insight shared by you, whether it's on startups or funding and business. And thank you so much for being here with us today from the committee. Chairman C.A. Hansraj sir, CA Vice Chairman C.A. Durgesh Kabra sir, the committee, all the members of the committee and business. The secretary of the committee today hasn't joined yet, Mr. Ranganathan. So on behalf of everyone, sincere gratitude to you. And I look forward to
seeing you. Pleasure is all mine. Pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Look forward to more. And as an advisor with Moore, this is how I operate and earn my bread and butter as well. I hope I was able to give the right advice to the right people.
Right. Thank you. Thank you
Perfect.
so much.
Thank you so much. So am I allowed to exit now?
Yes, Gaurav, you can. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye. We move on to our second session from entrepreneurship to leadership. You have got partially introduced to our esteemed speakers, two speakers who will be taking us through the leadership journey. And please allow me to introduce our leaders, our esteemed speakers. CA Neeraj Ritolia. Neeraj is a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India since 1995 and is currently serving as the chairman of our Abu Dhabi chapter, the most prestigious professional organization in Abu Dhabi, UAE. Neeraj is CFO of Ollendorff Couriers Transshipment in Abu Dhabi and has been with the organization for over a decade. Neeraj has over 25 years of professional experience and has worked across industries, including merchant banking and the manufacturing industry. For the last 18 years, he has been in the shipping industry and has negotiated multi-million-dollar loan agreements for ship financing. Neeraj, while volunteering for the largest chapters of ICAI overseas, has brought in many innovations. Neeraj has spoken on various topics on different platforms in India and Middle East. He has engaged with different organizations to support the needs of the underprivileged. Neeraj is a do-gooder who donates blood regularly and also encourages others to donate blood. When I say chapters across the other parts of the world, Neeraj has served in Doha chapter also, which I just told you from where Gaurav came, is our oldest chapter since 1981 overseas. Next, we move on to CA Krishnan NV. Krishnan is a chartered accountant and a cost accountant by qualification. He is in the Middle East for past 23 years. He is currently serving as the General Secretary of our Abu Dhabi chapter in UAE. With his passion towards practice, he moved from industry to professional practice. He is currently partnered in Chartered House Tax Consultancy, which is a UAE-based firm, and a partner with Anderson. Before he moved into practice, he was serving and working for Royal Jet, a luxurious airlines, as head of finance. He is a very passionate Toastmaster and mentor of Gavalier Toastmasters Club in Abu Dhabi. In our sessions, we have spoken about Toastmasters, so most of you must be knowing. Gavalier is a club for younger people, like from 12 to 17. Those who cannot become a Toastmaster, the concept is same. So here, a very big thing what Krishnan has been doing, because if we are preparing our kids from a young age to work on our interpersonal skills, communication, leadership, it makes a significant difference in our lives. I closely work with Neeraj and Krishnan. They've been part of one of the largest overseas chapter, the largest after Dubai chapter in terms of membership. And Abu Dhabi, the capital city of UAE, is a city which has a very significant business initiatives in the country. It is the largest emirate. The large part of the UAE is Abu Dhabi. And as Neeraj said, that the chapter is one of the most prestigious professional association in UAE, considering the membership of ICAI in UAE is very significant. And I would say since 4 or 5 decades, the contribution of the ICAI members in the finance industry is 75 to 80% or maybe even more. So it will be a great learning experience today with Neeraj and Krishnan while they take the leadership session for us, considering their leadership roles in their work organization, and also they serving our chapter for past many years. And when we talk about Neeraj, as I said, that he started his journey from Doha and then moved to Abu Dhabi. So I do not know whether it's 10 years or 12 years, but I'm sure it is close to a decade. So thank you, Neeraj and Krishnan, for being here, and looking forward to your wonderful session. I request all my participants to please give a big virtual round of applause for Neeraj and Krishnan, and I hand over to you. Thank you so much for being here, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Before I start, I just want to first check everyone is doing well, because, of course, this pandemic has taken a big toll on each and everyone in the whole part of the world. It is no one is spared, none of the geographical locations spared. So I hope that whatever we are able to do, we are doing in the right way. We are taking care of our health. We are taking all the precautions and doing well. I pray for everyone who are not doing so well for whatever reason, either it is health-wise, it could be job-wise, it could be business-wise. So let's do our bit in providing whatever we can to the less privileged section of the society. This initiative of management program is an amazing initiative, I would say. And again, thanks to pandemic, because we are now open to the world and we can do a lot more than what we were doing in the past. So I thank our leaders at ICAI, CA Nihar Jambusaria ji, the President, Vice President CA Debashish Mitra, committee members for Member in Industry and Business, CA Hansraj Chugji, the Chairman of this committee, Shri Durgesh Kabra ji, Vice Chairman of the committee, Shri Ranganathan ji, Secretary of this committee, and our very own CA Pradeep Baveja, Regional Director, Middle East. He is the person who has been instrumental in making all the chapter to work together, to be very communicative on various WhatsApp groups that he has formed. He keeps sending messages and keep us very active. He is the interface between ourselves, the chapters, overseas chapters, with ICAI India. We have a limited connection with our President and Vice President. And other than that, we generally don't talk to many committee members, although we are close to few of them. But generally it is through Pradeep that we communicate, we address a lot of issues, what we have here. So thank you very much for the committee, and as well as Pradeep, thank you for organizing this and giving us an opportunity. Just a very quick brief of ICAI Abu Dhabi chapter. We are an association of chartered accountants from India. We have close to around 800 members. The main vision of this chapter is to provide professional development events for our members. We normally do 2 events every month. And we also do a lot of social events to connect the family members of chartered accountants. On an average, again, we do almost a month, 1 event a month. Currently, the ongoing event is like weight loss competition amongst the members and their spouse, and which is very well perceived. Almost 100 members have joined that initiative. We also did one event called Let's Talk, because we found that during this time of social distancing, the social connection has to be there. And this is how we did one event where members were asked to put in a short video of how they are managing their life, what they are doing during COVID at home. So that was also very well perceived by the members. Recently, the committee of Abu Dhabi chapter decided to contribute 10 lakh rupees to the Chartered Accountant Benevolent Fund in India. This is our way of helping our brothers in India. And we had a word with Niharji, and we wanted to see that how we can assist and help. And he suggested the best way is to contribute to the fund. And that is what we did. In the chapter also, we have always a thought process to bring in a local flavor. So any event we try to bring in a local Emirati national or someone from the Middle East, non-Indian, who knows, to let him know that what the chartered accountant is, what the association is, what is it all about, the second largest body in the world. Because internally we all know what the CA is, but sometimes for the outsiders, it is good to market ourselves. And that is what we try to do. We also get very closely associated with the Institute of Internal Auditors. We do events with the Indian Business Group here. We are closely associated to the Embassy of India. So any members who are in distress during COVID, for example, someone has to renew his passport or something, we try to help them out through Embassy. So there are many things that we do. And I would say that this is what the leaders do. So why I'm telling you all this story is because our subject today is on leadership. Leader is anything that you do, which you're, of course, I mean, there are jobs that you have to perform, but over and above what you're doing for others to help, that is also one of the biggest leadership skills that one has. So now we'll run it through the presentation that we have. We'll talk mostly about our own leadership journey rather than focusing more on the theoretical aspects of it. So hopefully it will be a good learning. Now, Krishnan, if you can take it further.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, Krishnan. Great.
Yeah. Okay. I have shared my screen. Is it visible now?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Great. Thanks a lot. Okay. First, I would like to thank CA Nigar Jambusaria, our chairman of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, Vice President Debashish Mitra, then Committee for Members in Industry and Practice, CA Hansraj Chugji, the chairman, CA Durgesh Kabra ji, CA Ranganathan ji, secretary of the chapter, our own Pradeep ji. not but not the least, the chairman of Abu Dhabi CA chapter, vice chairman of Abu Dhabi CA chapter, for giving us an opportunity to talk in front of such a large audience. It was amazing. Close to 600 people are there today. But first, I have to congratulate you all for taking the step to enroll this event. Out of 40,000 people, close to 600 people are attending this event. So you are already into the leadership mode. This shows, by attending this event, this shows your anger, vision, commitment towards path of growth, path of success. Today is the 6th day. What a beautiful event they have done. First thing is about the entrepreneurship, then followed by the leadership. Both are more or less identical. Today is the 6th day of the session. I have been listening the speech for the last of the various speakers for the last 5 days. It was wonderful. There are a lot of participation in various sessions. To name a few, in fact, I have been hearing the questions from Ashwini, Kavita today, Kanika, Suraj, Raj, Pradeep, and so on. The name few, these are all the people which I am able to recollect immediately. I am quite confident today the participation will be more, and we are going to take a path of leadership. We are going to share our vision, which each and everyone will be enjoying it, and you will be participating thoroughly. Unfortunately, on account of blue jeans, there are some restrictions we are not able to see. If we are able to see you more, then it would have been more and more interesting. But we want you to interact through our Pradeep ji, so that whatever is the interaction which we are going to do, we want to get your feedback. So basically, being a leader, the feedback is what you have to give, so that the more and more interaction will enhance your leadership skill going forward. The first question to you is, how many of you believe this session will be more interesting, interactive, and knowledgeable session? I want you guys to give a rating from 1 to 10. 1 being the least, 10 being the best. I am giving you 30 seconds. Pradeep ji, can you just give us a feedback of our participants, how they are going to view this session going forward?
Yeah, so very tough question you have asked, Krishnan. You want participants to give rating before they listen to you. That's very nice. So
no, I want their attention.
Yeah. So all the participants request, please give, if you want me not to read your name, you can say that please don't read my name, or I can keep it anonymous. Or if yeah, so please rate how you feel the session. Maybe Rahul Kumar Singh says 8. Yes, yes. Yeah, so others, yeah, so Vinay gives you 10. Wonderful, Vinay.
Wow.
And
very good, excellent.
How many more come? Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, by being a chartered accountant, you are leader in one way or the other. By completing the chartered accountancy course is not an easy course. Out of 1.3 billion people, we have close to 400,000 chartered accountants. The two young chartered accountants, every year, our passing percentage is less than 10. This is one of the toughest course which each one has gone through. So by passing your chartered accountant, already you are a leader. You have already gone through so many hurdles. So now what we are going to do is, we are going to see how you can grow further. This is what we are going to discuss. We want more and more participation from all the members. I'll be throwing up the question to you, to Neeraj, and also to Pradeep ji. So whoever is willing to answer, please answer the question. So we want the section to be more and more interactive and interesting.
Yeah.
One of the famous quote.
Yeah, Krishnan, before you move ahead, I would like to say that we received some comments, and mostly it is between 9 to 10. Only there is one comment which is less, which is 7, but the participant has asked to keep it anonymous. Yeah.
Very good. That's excellent. Between 9 to 10. Hope me and Neeraj will be able to fulfill the commitment of the participants.
Yeah.
certainly we'll be able to fulfill the commitments on participants. We'll share our story as a leader, being a leader for a year, for the last so many years, for the last 23 years. Certainly we'll share our story. Hopefully it will inspire you. A leader is the one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. This is the famous quote of John Maxwell. He is the famous author. He has written more than 95 books. I think I suggest all of you to read some of his books or listen to some of his video speech. It is an interesting and it will be an inspiring video. It is a wonderful author, wonderful human being, and he is the versatile speaker. He talks about leadership from A to Z. Okay. My first question to Neeraj or to the audience is, our leaders are born or made?
Yeah.
Who would like to take the question?
Yeah, our leaders are born or made. So before the comments come, I would like to make a comment, Krishnan, that just few days back I made a video which I post on LinkedIn. And I said that, leadership has many styles. And different kind of a leadership styles, people have become successful. So the style had been different and everyone had a positive outcome. So I felt that this is a very critical question, are born or made, but we sometimes get stuck in it and we are not able to move forward. So what I wanted to say is that, we do not get stuck here. We keep on working towards our objectives and become successful. That's what I concluded my video as. We have some comments, Krishna. You were talking about an author, right? So Tripti was not able to listen which author you were saying. So if you can repeat it.
John Maxwell.
Yeah, so Tripti, Krishnan was telling about John Maxwell. I think he is the top leadership coach. We had a couple of speakers, who were John Maxwell trainers, certified trainers. We had in first batch Meenakshi, our Bahrain chapter chair, and we had Sadika from Lebanon, who is a John Maxwell trainer. And we have another comment from Vinay. Vinay says leaders are made. Kanika says some are born with it, most are made.
Yeah.
Kanika was the one who had responded in the earlier session on the image what he was asking, and she said that game changers. And Gaurav had to say that, Kanika has a very good knack of becoming a great entrepreneur.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think people have responded. I mean, of course, it is mostly made. That is the right answer. And before we go into the next slide, I would just like to ask again a question here. Whom do you think is your leader, or you have come across someone in your real life as a leader? And do you connect with all these slides that we will show you in our later presentation? Connect with those qualities and see that whether that matches or not. This will help you to understand the qualities and the skills of a leader, and this is how you can retain this for a longer period. So the next slide talks about leader. What is a leader, and who is a leader?
Yeah, we have a couple of more comments. Neeraj and Krishnan. Vijay Lakshmi says made. Rahul Kumar Singh says leaders emerge out of tough situations. So they are made. Perfect. I think a very strong statement he made.
See, there are so many life examples where leaders are made. Leaders are born, yes, it might be, but a minor percentage, but leaders are made, it's a higher percentage. Because we are all leaders. All chartered accountants are going to be the leaders. That means we are all made. We are all not born as a leader. So naturally, the most ideal percentage is leaders are made. Okay, coming back to the subject again. Leader is the one who listens and who expects everything to be perfect, who achieves the target, who is more determined and he encourages each and everyone to participate, and he respects his team, and he is having a vision. So this is the simple form who is a leader. Leader is, again I'll repeat, leader is the one who listens. E is for expectation, A for achieve, D for determination, E for encouragement, and R for respect.
Yeah, Krishnan, here I would just like to add one thing. Respect is again a very important aspect. I mean, sometimes what happens, we start assuming that if I am a leader, so people should respect me. But there has to be a mutual respect. If you don't respect your team, if you don't respect your members of your organization, if you don't respect your subordinate, you will fail as a leader. So, I mean, this is one thing which one should keep in mind, that respect has to be both ways. It is not that you are a leader and people should respect you. Go ahead, please.
Perfect. Yeah. See, today we are going to talk about various characteristics of a leader, because we are going to talk about again our journey. So what a characteristic of a leader should be, what is the triads and the skills of a leader. Then the first characteristic is listening and communication. The listening is of paramount importance, which already you guys might have heard it from Meenakshi on Saturday, on day 3 of the course. She has mentioned why listening is so important. Without a proper listener, a person cannot be a leader. Because most of the times what the mistake most of the people does is, before listening, they think that they want to ask some question. So they ask a question in such a way which is not of relevant, or they are not understanding the subject properly. So listening is the key characteristic for a proper leader. Again, the communication. Again, we had already covered as a communication is one of our subject in one of the days. So communication is again a paramount importance for to be a good leader. So without communication, a person cannot be a leader. Yeah, communication means he has to speak either both verbal communication and also written communication, even though English is our second language, but we have to improve and we have to convey what we have to convey, even though mistakes can happen. But the main thing is we have to communicate, we have to speak slowly so that the other person will be able to hear. The next one about the characteristic of leader, he should be an extrovert. He should not be an introvert. Being an introvert, you cannot be a successful leader. That's a problem. I believe many of us are having it. In fact, I had the same problem a couple of years before. I used to sit in a job, whatever is coming to me, that only I'll do. I'll not talk openly. I'll not discuss. I am not sociable earlier, not outgoing. So basically, if a person is extrovert, then it is easy for him to connect. As a leader, a person should be an extrovert. So he should be very active. Then only he can optimize it. He should be sociable and he should be lively. And that's one of the main things which most of the Indians, I believe, are having it. Compared to the Westerners, we have the introvert. We are slightly an introvert, but things are changing. Certainly, a leader, we should be an extrovert. Then the next one is the leader should be taking a risk. He should take the risk appetite. Without taking a risk, a leader cannot succeed in this. Already, Mr. Gaurav is talking about entrepreneurship. He is talking about without taking a risk, a person cannot be an entrepreneur. Being an employee, what are all the disadvantages you are having? You might be getting a salary, fixed salary, but being an entrepreneur, you are taking a risk. Naturally, the reward is also more. So without no risk, no gain. Basically, you can say risk hai to ishq hai. You might have seen the serial of Scam 1992 about the Arshad Mehta scam. Without taking risk, it won't be fun. If you want to say in Tamil, because I am from Tamil Nadu, risk taking is eating risk. That means risk edukkiradhu rask saapra mari. I'll repeat, risk taking is eating risk. Okay, so you have to take a risk, so only you will be able to enjoy and grow further. I want Mr. Neeraj to continue on the remaining characteristic of a leader.
Sure, Krishnan. Ability to delegate. I mean, see what happens normally when we are a leader or when we are dealing with our team. We don't delegate things, and that takes away a lot of our own time not to do something which is important. Delegate doesn't come easily. For delegate this leadership skill comes only when you trust your people, when you rely on your team, and you are empowering them. You want to make them do something and then become successful. You have to believe in them. That is the most important aspect before delegating. It is like if you want someone to learn swimming, you have to push him to the water. It is not that you keep holding him and make him learn. That way it won't happen. So similarly, delegation has to be there in order for you to do more important things as a leader, as well as to empower your team to become more important and to grow. Next question.
Yeah, sorry, I think there is some internet issue.
It's okay, no problem.
Now it's fine, Krishna. Now it's fine.
Next.
Yeah.
Next point, can you do that?
Yes, sorry.
No problem, no problem. It's okay. These are the common challenges these days with webinar, that sometimes connectivity is an issue or sometimes something happens, so it's okay.
So you're able to see the screen now?
No.
Not yet, Krishna. I think just...
You have to again do it, I think.
Is the screen audible? You're able to see the screen now?
No.
Not yet. I think your presentation is open, right, Krishna? After it's open, then you can click on that share screen and choose PowerPoint. Then this presentation which is open will come.
That's what I had done it earlier. It was perfect at the time. Let me see again.
Yeah.
1 second. Sorry.
Is it saying on your system that the screen is shared? Is it saying that the message is throwing on? When that message is coming that you are sharing a screen, then only it would come. Now it doesn't say that Krishnan is sharing a screen.
Neeraj, you'll be able to do that?
Okay, let me try. 1 second.
Sorry guys, sorry for the confusion because in between the internet has been dropped.
Is it okay now? Can you see?
Not yet, Neil. Yeah, coming.
Yeah.
Is it okay? Shall I start?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so next point is integrity. Now again, integrity is, the proper definition of integrity is like being honest, not to lie, not to cheat, not to steal anything, and do everything with the top character that you have. Why this is again important for a leader is that you don't want to burden yourself with doing something which is menial and which will continue to have a tag, extra baggage with you. So it is always to be clean, and this is very important to set an example for your team as well. No one should be able to raise a finger on you that you have done something wrong in your life or in your tenure with the organization or with the business that you're doing. So always be honest to it and don't burden yourself with anything that you may come across. So it gives you a potential to work with open-mindedness, and it gives you to stand tall in all respect. Passion. Passion is again, whatever you do in life, it has to come with passion. If you don't have a passion to do something, probably you will never be successful. Sometime the basic question that we ask to a guy is that in the morning, how willing you are to come to an office. So if you're not happy coming to the office, that means there is something lacking behind. Ask your team member always, are you happy what you're doing? Do you want something else to be done? Do you want to move into some other department maybe? I mean, again, being an accountant, you can't see moving to other department, but with limited training, there is a possibility that he can be moved to some other department. So the passion to do anything has to be there in order to continue to be a leader. Then there are a few other aspects which we won't deliberate or discuss a lot on that, which is very normal and common, like dedication and commitment has to be there to become a leader. You should be able to influence. Okay, this is again very important. Your behavior, your activity, your steps that you take in life, the way you talk, the way you behave, everything should be influencing others. And that is very important for the leader. So leader should be very conscious of what he's doing and how he's behaving. Knowledge. This is again, you have to be knowledgeable. Intelligence. Leader should be intelligent. Open-mindedness. This is again one aspect where I would say that keep your mind open. Don't block yourself with a very small thing. Let others give their thought process. Let others talk. Let others give their views. If you are very blocked in your mind that no, what I am saying is correct, then probably you won't be successful in that. Empathy. I think this I'll discuss in little length when we move into the next slide. There is a famous quote here. Basically, it talks about saying that before you are a leader, the journey of leadership, the success is all about growing yourself. The individual grows when you are in the journey of leadership. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others, influencing others. The others are becoming more influenced and growing, seeing you as a leader. This statement is by Jack Welch and is again one of the leadership coach, worldwide renowned. So in his words, it is before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. Leadership journey. As I said, in the journey, the individual grows. So be proactive. As a leader, okay, so what we have done is we have phased it into two aspects. One is the journey of a leadership, where you are not a leader yet, but you are going to become a leader. And then we will talk about when you are a leader. So how to become a leader. So be proactive. Always think of what to do ahead. Sometimes what happens when you're planning or discussing something, you should be thinking 2 steps, 3 steps ahead of it. And that is what a leadership quality is. There are 2 ways to handle any situation. One is let it come and we'll see what happens. And one is think of few scenarios and you then decide, no, I should be ready, prepared myself for handling the situation if it is coming in this way. The leaders think in that way. So always be proactive, have a plan, maybe sometimes for important things have plan B as well.
Neeraj, I would like to add one more over here. So
Please.
Basically, a leader should be proactive and he should not be reactive. Basically, when you go and meet the client, rather than the job which has been given to you, rather than the assignment which has been given to you, basically you have to look into the opportunity where you can get some other assignment from the client. That way you have to be proactive and get more and more business from the same client rather than going and approaching some other client, so that you can increase your business with the same client. Carry on, Neeraj.
Yeah. The other journey, leadership journey, you need to be learning from your failures. See, again, this is something which is very important. Never fear to fail. Failures are expensive. When you fail, it comes with a cost, but it brings in a lot of experience. And anyone who fails in his earlier phase of life, he is more experienced than anyone who has never failed in his life. A quick example is like someone applies for a post of a driver in an organization, and in his CV, he says that I have never done any fine or any accident or anything for last 10 years. And the other one says that, yes, I'm very experienced, but a couple of times I had met with an accident. The guy who was interviewing, he just happened to ask, resume-wise, the guy who has not done an accident probably is the right guy to select. But during interview, it was found that the guy who has never met with an accident has not driven a car for last 10 years, although he's having a driving license. So failure comes with a cost, but it brings in a lot of experience. Again, a very quick example. I remember when there was some modifications to be done on one of the port, and that would have improved cargo discharge substantially. There was some error, something happened, and it didn't work. And that was a massively expensive failure that happened. The team who handled that could have been fired, but the management decided to retain them. And the only reason was that we have spent so much money for you to learn. We can't let you go to other organization, and they earn out of this failure experience and the cost that has been involved. So it is very important to learn from your mistakes. Don't repeat it. That is also again very important. But at the same time, it is important to fail and learn, get experience out of it. Public speaking. This is one of the biggest challenge, and I think Pradeep will also vouch for that because he's a top Toastmaster in this region, and he can elaborate on this topic basically. Everyone fears to step on coming to the stage. Why this happens? Even if you are a good speaker, even if you are knowledgeable, but once you step down on a stage, see a large audience, there is a kind of a fear. In leadership journey, take out this fear. I would say whenever you get an opportunity, go and talk. Do your best, deliver your speech. Even if you fumble, if you are not able to speak for the first time, second time, third time, try to get and take every opportunity that comes in your life for public speaking. Pradeep, you want to add something here quickly?
Yeah, Neeraj, I would like to say, you touched upon very important point that get onto the stage and speak. As Krishnan is a Toastmaster, many times in Toastmasters meetings it happens that in a table topic, a guest comes. And table topic is an impromptu speaking. Guest is called on to speak, a guest speaks on the stage. When guest speaks on the stage, mostly the guest has spoken so well, even though earlier a guest may have a fear, and they end up winning a trophy. So sometimes people feel like, this is a compromise trophy so that a guest can become a member of a club. But that's not true. So therefore, if we take the use of an opportunity, we can make a difference. I have seen just 10 days old Toastmaster, winning area in division where the judging is so strong. So speaking is very important. Any opportunity we get, we should make use of that.
True. Then venture out of your comfort zone. See, most of the people, if you don't venture out of your comfort zone, you will not be able to succeed. Basically, I was there in the industry, but suddenly I thought, okay, I was having a passionate about the practice. I'm more interested in the tax and other things. But earlier, because on the comfort zone as an employee, I was there working for a company. But I've been waiting for years and years. Might be I have taken this step at a very late age, but always venture out of your comfort zone. When you venture out of comfort zone, automatically you become a good leader and you will be able to succeed more and more in you. So venture out of your comfort zone. The next one is embrace the change. Now, with the technological advancement, with so many things, we have to embrace the change because the COVID taught us how to change ourselves in various spheres of life. Earlier, we were going to office. Now, everybody is sitting and working from home. The technology has been advanced. Being a chartered accountant, now the AI, robotics, all those things and the technological advancement. So we have to embrace our change. We have to embrace the change. If we don't embrace the change, then naturally we will be in the down level. So, ladies and gentlemen, please ensure that you increase your knowledge, embrace the change, and try to be expert in each and every field so that your leadership journey will continue and you can make more and more success in your life. As Neeraj said, voice your ideas. You don't keep with yourself. So basically, even if you want to talk to your CEO, go and talk to CEO. Whatever is your thought process, just tell them out. Once you spell them out, then some of the things might be useful. Some of the things, that's where the CEO or the company recognizes you as a leader. So don't keep within yourself. Innovate something new, voice your ideas. That will always be successful. Leaders or readers? Do you agree?
Yes.
I want to ask a question to the audience. Leaders or readers? Do you agree?
Yeah. So
Can we have a quick,
sure.
because I know we are having only 15 minutes of time. I'll go through. By the time, let the audience give their suggestion.
Right.
Leaders or readers? This is what a person who reads more and more books, they are the better leaders. Because the person who spends time and effort to prepare a book, he might be spending years and years to prepare a book. As a reader, we are sharing his knowledge, we are sharing his experience in a capsule form in a span of 1 day or in a span of 3 years. Always, if you see the big leaders, they read close to 5 to 7 books in a month. So the more and more the book you read, the more and more the knowledge you develop. So start reading the habit. Nowadays, with the technological advancement, you can see the video also. A good book shares the more wisdom of the age in a capsule form. After 5 years, you will know the person where after 5 years, it depends upon the books you read, the movies and the show you watch, and the company.
Prioritize your work, set your goals, achieve deadlines. This is again, in your leadership journey, you should consider prioritizing your work. What happens sometimes if you're given few tasks to accomplish, you are in a dilemma that which one I should take it up first, or should I start few things together? It is very important. You should know what is deliverables, to whom it is deliverable, what is the deadline for that, and based on that, you should be absolutely clear in your plan that which task you have to take first. And this is how you plan your day, you plan your week, or plan your month in your organization. Perception is important. This is again something which is different, and I am a strong believer of this. Whatever you do in your organization, you create certain kind of a perception. You could be angry young man, maybe. You could be very straightforward. You could be very smiling and charming. Maintain that. And that is your nature. That is your thing which you have not learned over a period of time. It is within you. Continue with that. Maintain it. Be nice and humble. The perception, of course, it has to be a good perception. You can't assume to have something which is annoying someone. But perception is very important for you to continue this journey of leadership. Networking. It is again something very important in today's world. Education is available. Knowledge is available on Google now these days. What you have to do is, whether you want to expand your business, whether you want to expand your work, whether you want to expand on knowing people, socializing, whatever, you need to have networking. The day you move out of your home, the day you attend any conference, any seminar, any group, try to make new friends. What we have seen always is, like I'm talking about a place in Abu Dhabi, which is out of India, most of the Indians will stand in an Indian group, right? This is not correct. Go and meet someone new, first of all, whether it is Indian or elsewhere, and try to talk to other nationalities also. Let them know who you are, what you are. Market yourself in these networking sessions. One fundamental thing is, whenever you meet any new person, try to make a contact with him. Continuous learning. This is again, in our leadership journey, learning never stops. And you have seen that COVID didn't stop any one of us from learning. And in fact, it is much more, I would say, that in today's time, where we have access to webinars from across the globe, in one day you have an option to choose out of 4 or 5 which one to attend, and pick and choose the best one, whatever you want to, or which makes sense for you. But keep learning. That is very important. Even if you take your takeaway is 20% of the whole session, it is a massive learning for you. That is how I look at it. Dream big.
Thank ICAI for we should thank ICAI for it. Basically, the way the ICAI is organizing the seminar, it's a blessing in disguise, and we are able to learn so much of things from the ICAI, and also in the website also so many manuals, so many documents has been provided in our ICAI learning website also. Yeah, carry on, Neeraj.
Yeah. Dream big, because they say that if you dream small, it is never going to be successful. You'll never be happy with achieving small dreams. Dream big, put a task to it to achieve it, and believe me, as a leader in your journey, you will be always successful. Plan it properly, put in all these criteria that we have discussed. First, how do you think anything to do? Is you dream about it. When you dream small, you're not going to be successful in that. Even if you achieve, you won't have that feeling of being successful. So always dream big. Turn disaster into opportunities. Christian, you would like to add something here on this point?
Yeah. See, basically, this is the best example. During the COVID, we have turned all the disasters into various opportunities, like the using of the technology. You might be seeing in India also the reverse migration. Basically, people who are there in the city, they move out to the villages and they become an entrepreneur. They start their own business. Even though it has some negative, but it has positive. We got more and more entrepreneurs by using this opportunity, by taking the disaster and making it as a big opportunity. We have seen so many successful stories like Arunima Sinha's story, who lost her leg and then she climbed the mountain. So basically, each and every person, even if any disaster happened at this point of circumstances, we have to use this disaster and make it to a big opportunity. Always, then once you do that, we can do wonders in our life.
I think we are left out only with 10 minutes, so we'll quickly complete whatever we have to. This slide is all about how leader influences others to grow. This is the second part. Earlier we were talking of the leadership journey where you as an individual grow, and now we are talking of how leaders help others to grow. So empathy. This is again something which is very important these days. I mean, general perception of a finance guy is that he's a serious, he doesn't mixes with everyone, he doesn't talk too much, he is in his own world. Come out of that. Because nobody cares these days. I mean, if you are willing to mix with others, others are willing to mix with you. It's all about give and take. So show empathy with your colleagues. If someone is in need of something, help him out. With us, there is an advantage that we are well versed with income tax laws. We are more aware of how to handle our finances. Your other non-finance team members may not be so knowledgeable on these things. Put a step forward to help them out. So that, yes, we are there to help you for whatever, something relating to finance we can. This will help you to grow. This is what the leader's quality is. All others will start respecting you, will come to talk to you, will share thoughts with you. CEO of your function. This is again something what is coming out of our personal experiences. What I strongly believe is, right from office boy to driver, to cleaner, to the CEO, CFO, each function is on its own a CEO function. So if you're talking to your office boy, if his responsibility, job description talks about managing pantry, for example, let him decide what to buy, how to buy. If you start interfering or giving approvals for each and every small things, first of all, you are not delegating. Secondly, you are using your time which you could have used for some other important things. Thirdly, you are not empowering him. Once you delegate that, once you tell him, this is your function, you handle it in the best possible manner, you see there is a massive result out of it. He will try to get the best thing at the best price, and he will try to maintain good inventory, never let things waste. This is just an example I'm giving you of the office boy. It could be for any position if you think. Let him handle that function as he's the owner of it. Allow others to speak and don't interrupt. Accept others' views and thoughts. Again, I mean, this we know most of it, that it is our basic habit that if someone starts talking, we start judging him. We start thinking that, oh, he must be coming for certain things. Without listening him completely, we start talking and explaining whatever way. Don't interrupt. Maybe there's something different he's come for. His thought could be very different. Accept others' views and thoughts. This is again very important for a leader. As Krishnan mentioned earlier, that listening is a big skill. Till the time you don't listen the whole thing, don't interrupt, don't jump to conclusion, don't talk. Same thing goes with reading. When an email comes, rather than reading it in full, in totality, word by word, clearly understanding it, the content of it, we start thinking and responding to it. But then you realize that, okay, let me go back to see what I have to respond. And you'll find the message is something different. So please, as a leader, you have to allow others to speak. You have to let others to tell their views, and you should accept it whenever you think that it is the right one.
Problem solving and decision making.
Yeah.
Problem solving and decision making. You, as a leader, you have to take a timely decision, make a timely decision, and take the timely decision. Time is so precious. Everybody thinks time is, we don't have time, but everyone is having time. Even if you have 24 hours, even if you give 26 hours, people are not good. Still, they'll say there is no time. So time is so precious. Time is more precious than money. So take timely decision and solve the problem. Don't postpone the problem. Most of the times we postpone the problem, which unnecessarily leads, which will boomerang back to us at a later stage in a bigger way. So don't postpone the problem. Solve the problem. Take a timely decision. Carry on, Neeraj. Good negotiation skill. Being a leader, you should be having a good negotiation skill. Negotiation skill in the sense, it should be win-win. You should ensure that the end of the negotiation, both the parties should be happy. They should go with a smiley face. It should not be either you should not lose or the other party should not lose. There is no need. You should not compromise. At the same time, the other party should not compromise. Use your negotiation skills. That's one of the critical things for any leadership. So, effective negotiation brings you to climb more and more, to climb bigger role in your office. So, yeah, carry on, Neeraj.
One thing very important here is in negotiation skill is never enter into an agreement where the other party is not happy, because he will somehow do something somewhere that is going to impact your whole business. So whenever you're entering into any contract or doing any business deal, the other party should be always happy as well. It is not only about making yourself happy that, I have achieved something. It is about, at the end of the day, he's also in his business. So he should be able to make some money out of this business. Otherwise, unhappy contractor, unhappy businessman, unhappy service provider is never going to support your business in big time. Making mistake is nothing wrong. Even leaders makes mistake. If I've done mistake, what's wrong in that? Accept it, learn from it, and move ahead. That is the most important message here I'm giving. To err is human and rise from failure. Empower your team. Allow them to take charge and do mistakes. Here again, I go back to this example which I gave, that if someone wants to learn swimming, throw him in the pool and then he'll learn. Empower your team. Don't give him a kind of a step-by-step guidance in how to do things. If he's an intern or something, then it's fine that you make him learn. But once he is in a position to run it, don't guide on day-to-day thing. Let him take decision. Only interfere if you think that yes, something is going wrong, number one. Number two, if he comes and asks for some decision making, there also my suggestion would be, ask him, how do you think? What do you think? Why you don't think in this way? Is that correct way of doing or not? Give him ideas so that he develops rather than he just follow what you want. Let them do mistakes. And the good leaders take that responsibility to himself for his team. That is again very important. If your subordinate does a mistake, own it. Don't say that he did a mistake. Own that. That is, this is my mistake. I failed. No problem. I'll rectify it going forward. Lead by example. Krishnan, you have a good example from this.
I can, but considering the time constraint, I think we have to,
Okay, here we quickly say, that you should do yourself first, the things that you preach. If you say that, you have to complete the deadlines, you do it yourself first. You show it to the others that yes, you are achieving that, and then you ask others to do it. Impartial. Don't take sides. As a leader, you should be absolutely impartial. There is nothing called he's closer to me, he has a softer side of mind. No, nothing. If you are a leader, you have to be fair in your principle, in your thoughts, in your execution. Peer evaluation is important. Take honest feedback. What happens as a leader, normally you don't evaluate yourself or you don't ask others to evaluate you. Very important thing. Ask your team member, are you happy with me? Is there any other way I can help you? Is there any other way you want me to perform? take guidance from them and ask them, be open. Tell them that your suggestion, your feedback will help me to grow, will help the team to grow. This department in the organization would would do better. So these are again very important traits. It is very difficult. If I go to my subordinate and say that, can you tell me if I'm doing something wrong? Most likely they will never say, number one. Number two, most likely I will never go and approach to them. But please do it and give them that faith that whatever you say, I will follow that. Or I'll give you a reason why I'm not doing it.
Viji, can we extend for another 5-10 minutes or?
Yes, please. We can extend for 10-15
Yes, we can do that. We can do that. No problems.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raghunathji. Thank you, Pradeepji. Okay, now we are talking about the leadership style. We'll try to complete it as quickly as possible. There are various types of leadership style. One is the directive leadership style. Then another is a supportive leadership style. Directive leadership style is nothing but is more of a direction. What to do? It is instructing the subordinate what to do, when to do, why to do, and how to do. Is straight away basically is on the direction. Based on the direction, the subordinate has to do it. The supportive leadership is more of an empathic. He takes his team along with him and is more of a consultative approach. He follows the supportive leader, follows a consultative approach. He discusses with his subordinate, he discusses with his peers. Because of the supportive leadership, the person who is doing the other job, it increases the morale of the employees and he gives feedback to them. So the supportive leader gives feedback to the employees so that the employee will become a leader at one point of time or the other. Being the kind of leader, this is again a quote from Brian Tracy, being the kind of leader that people will follow voluntarily, even if you have title or no position. So generally, we follow the leader, even if a person doesn't have title or position, based on his act, based on the way he approaches, people will follow him blindly. Neeraj, can you move on to the next slide?
This is a little theoretical and we won't discuss too much on that, but quickly, leadership styles, as Christian mentioned earlier. So it's into 4 coordinates. So the S1, which is more directive in nature, which is very directive and very low supportive to your peers or your team. This is a style where I would say it's not a right way of doing anything. But again, there are organizations or there are situations where you have to follow this. The immediate example that comes to my mind is during COVID. If the government as an administrative authority decides on certain things to be followed, I don't think there is wrong in it. And you have to be very directive and you need not be very supportive in terms of like whatever you say, we will consider that. Because at this stage, the important thing is to somehow contain this pandemic. Maybe in an organization which is very labor oriented, probably you may have to have such kind of leadership style. These are old school thoughts, but now things are changing dramatically. But yes, this is one of the leadership style. Then we move to S2, which is again very directive. You keep on giving direction, but at the same time, you have a supportive behavior that you take a feedback, you try to put across what they're saying and consider that. But it is still very highly directive. You try to guide them to do what you want. You hear them, you take their views, but again, you have in your mind that this is how it should be done. The other two, Christian, if you can explain a bit.
Yeah, the third is more of a supporting. So here, the leader supports. He doesn't decide. He supports the team member and team member's decision making. He listens actively and then helps people to take their own decision. This is one of the best approach. He is more of a support leader. He recognizes people for accepting and seeking his support. And the last one is of a delegating leadership. Here, it's a very less support to the team member. Here, the leader is more of a non-active member. He only asks the team member to do, and he delegates everything. It has its own advantages and it has own disadvantages also. The advantage is the team member, you are empowering the team to take the responsibility to complete it. But the disadvantage is the team member can ignore the team leader. So the delegation it has its own disadvantage and advantage. And the leader is having a very limited communication with this team member.
So, any questions?
Yeah, Neeraj, before the question comes, I would like to share that for the readers, we got many comments and everyone said yes, but I would like to read out the statements which were made by two of our participants. Ashwini has made a statement, yes, truly, all the business leaders and billionaires across the globe has reading as a consistent habit of their lifestyle. So this is what Ashwini says. And Rahul says that readers of today are leaders of tomorrow.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Very beautiful. Yes. This is again a quote from a good leader.
Yeah. And see, I request all the people to read the book of 7 Habits of Effective Life by Stephen R. Covey. Because this is the book, it is based on the principle. All the leaders, they read this book. Most of the books which a person writes is based on this principle. It talks about all the principle for a person to be an effective leader. There are videos are available, short stories are available about this book. This is the book which a person can keep on reading it. And each and every year, if he goes and reads it, it will become more and more interesting, and they will be learning so many things on the life. The 7 Habits of Effective Life by Stephen R. Covey. And there are so many other books also available. This is one of the books which I love it.
Yeah, Krishnan and Neeraj, there are many thank yous which has come, but I would like to read one statement by Tripti. She says that wonderful session by both the leaders.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So nice of you. See, yeah. I think what we did is, just a quick one-liner, that instead of making it theoretical, bringing it from a lot of leadership books, we thought of sharing our own personal experiences where we thought that it will be helpful to you guys. Other things are available on net, and you can easily go through it, you can do it. But like empathy, CEO of a function, delegating, empowering, these things are of utmost importance, I would say. Please follow this and let your team feel that you are a real leader. If there are any questions, we'll be happy to take it. Otherwise, yeah.
We don't have any questions, Neeraj and Krishnan, as of now. I would request our committee secretary, G. Ranganathan ji, to please propose a vote of thanks, and then I will have a final word before we say goodbye. Yes, Ranganathan ji.
Hello, sir. Good evening to you, both of you gentlemen. In fact, I was attending another webinar which was held today on taxation of deceased persons, where even our president and vice president participated. So therefore, first half of the program I missed out. But then just when you are starting your innings, I had joined. I would say CA Neeraj and CA Krishnan, you both played the innings extremely well. In fact, I could see that you are rotating strikes so frequently and so very well. There were 6s and 4s in between. Rather, I was going through your presentations very carefully. What I noticed is that if each point of your presentation is elaborated into a half page or 1 page, you yourself, both of you, can bring out a book, a complete book on leadership. You started with what is leadership, empowering, inspiring, leading change, sharing vision. The acronym that you gave of a leader, that listens, expects the best, achieves, determined, encourage, respects. Fantastic. Respect begets, one needs to respect to get respect. Then you covered on traits of leaders, how leaders are made. And then real leader is one who influences others to grow. Fantastic session. Absolutely marvelous. I think all our young leaders, the people who are watching today's show, they are all young leaders. They have small teams today to lead. But in the next 5 years, 10 years, they'll be leading big teams. They will all end up their career as at least as CFOs, if not CEOs. And then this session of yours should be a very, very great help to them. Thank you so very much. Very grateful for your time and for such a great learning. Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
They'll be an entrepreneur. I want all of them to be an entrepreneur rather than that they'll be the CEO on their own.
Yes.
Right. So today, thank you so much, Neeraj and Krishnan. Thank you to Gaurav also, who has left. We had great sessions today. Tomorrow we are having the last day of this program, where we will start with a leader from Oman, Mubin Khan, a very learned person who will be talking on the topic tech savvy or tech slave. And we will end the day of this session, of this batch, with LinkedIn, which has become a very powerful tool for engagement and success. So by Mr. Vishal Pandey, both of them had earlier worked in Deloitte. It's a coincidence, but they are far apart in far different cities. And that's it. And also would like to let you know that we will be starting the next batch very soon, fifth batch on 12th June. So we wish to see every one of you live. And thank you. And stay safe. Take care. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All best wishes to everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.